Good evening to you all. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Philippine League of Local Environment and Natural Resources Officers, the PLLENRO, for coming together for this year's conference to share best practices in promoting environmental stewardship. I'd like to recognize too our friends from the private sector who have taken time out of their busy schedules to join us to talk about opportunities for energy efficiency and other environmental initiatives. As you know, USAID and PLLENRO have a long history of partnership, particularly in developing GHG, greenhouse gas, inventory and management plans. I have very fond memories of joining your league in its annual convention several years ago under what was the Synergy Project, and now called Be Leaders. I can say that with pride I've watched PLLENRO grow from a nascent organization to a real community of practitioners who remain on the front line of climate change in many ways. I saw that when we were in Tagum several years ago, and I could remember the fervor of the PLLENRO delegates who were there, and I am sure the initiative is the same. Developing smarter communities through low-emission development alternatives is timely and significant theme for this year's conference. Around the world, more and more communities seek and adopt solutions to address climate change issues while solving and achieving broader development goals. The term low-emission alternatives or low-emission development strategies, simply referred to as LEDs, first came out in 2008 under the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, the UNFCCC. LEDs is defined as a national development plan that encompasses low-emission and climate-resilient economic growth. But as we know, nations are made up of communities. LEDs was highlighted again and again at texts at the 15th Conference of Parties, and this was considered indispensable to sustainable development in the Copenhagen Accord. Now, although LEDs originally refer to the national plan, we've observed that communities are taking LEDs ideas and integrating them into their local development goals, whether that's the CLOOP, the FLOOP, or any other type of development plan that you may have at your LGU level. In the US, we've done the same. Communities have initiated ways to implement their respective SMART LEDs action plans. Where I went to school in Denver, they've put together a comprehensive plan that aims to enhance the economy and environment. And in the fine city of Chicago, they came up with a strategy to save a transit line and the revitalizing neighborhoods. On the other hand, in Philadelphia, they've put forward a model to preserve open space. In my travel in different places in the Philippines, I've seen LEDs in action in these areas, from renewable energy investment promotion in Surigao del Norte to BRT planning in Cebu to tourism planning in Palawan. Many of these LGUs see it not only as environmentally responsible, but economically and competitively beneficial. I'm very pleased to learn that PLLENRO members that we've trained in GHG inventory management and the management plans are now providing that training onward to others. I understand that as of today, the PLLENRO officers and members have conducted trainings and workshops in more than 54 LGUs and to 35 members of the Chino Rosas Estate Association in Makati City. For us at USAID, that's something we like to tell, a story of success of people that we've trained that are training others. Now, through USAID's Enhancing Capacity for Low-Emission Development Strategies, EC-LEDs, we follow a simple diagram that summarizes the process in designing and implementing LEDs. I'd like to share with you how this simple illustration, or LEDs pie as we call it, guides us through designing, implementing, and evaluating our activities. As you see in the pie graph, it's divided into 5 sections, 5 slices of pie, if you will. The first one focuses on the organizational framework. What kind of institutions, what kind of stakeholder engagements needed to bring this idea from something off of the paper and into action. A second is the assessment of current situation. Where are we with our data? What kind of economic and environmental data do we have available? What are our goals? What are our goals as a community and as members of the Philippines? Now, take those two things, and we have to look at what the best practices are out there and how we can take analytical tools for decision making and apply them to what our needs are politically, socially, economically, environmentally, and with the data that we have. That gives us what we might say is a portfolio of actions. That can be anything from a BRT line, which I know is happening in Cebu, to renewable energy generation at the EC level, electric cooperative level. Now, the fifth part is often forgot, but it is one of the most important. That's implementation and monitoring. And that's being able to come back to our stakeholders or shareholders and say, what we did has a positive effect on our bottom line. And whether that bottom line is financial, social, or environmental, we have to be able to communicate with data that we've made success. The activities under the EC-LEDS framework range from greenhouse gas inventory and management, assessment and evaluation of renewable energy resources, to increasing the share of renewable energy and clean energy in the energy mix. In the forestry sector, on the other hand, we partner with key Government of the Philippines agencies to support the implementation of the country's RED Plus program, including the National Greening Program. Collectively, these LEDS initiatives shall form the country's intended nationally determined contribution, as agreed in previous UNFCCC meetings. As you may have heard already, the U.S. government already submitted its INDC, formalizing its commitment to reduce emissions between 26 and 28% below 2005 levels. Meanwhile, here in the Philippines, INDC development is well underway. We are privileged to provide assistance to the Climate Change Commission in undertaking a cost-benefit analysis of mitigation options. This study, hopefully, will provide a basis for the Philippines to prioritize its INDC and consider co-benefits, such as employment generation, reduced health risks, and supporting livelihoods. We envision that LGUs will play a critical role in realizing the proposed mitigation target reductions in the INDC, and this will be submitted later this year to the international community in Paris. PLLENRO has been actively engaged in conceptualizing and implementing LEDS, and you are in the best position to be at the forefront of these activities. As the environmental stewards, I hope that you lead the way for your community to choose smart development that is through low emission strategies. As my tenure ends here in the Philippines, I will no doubt cherish the memories I've made with PLLENRO. Thank you so much for 4 wonderful years, and I look forward to crossing paths with you again. Be Leaders is here, as well as my colleagues in USA, to continue working with you. Also, I would like to say a special vote of thanks to the city of Cagayan de Oro for hosting this year's conference. Let's make the most of what we've learned here. Let's take the most out of the conversations we have over the next several days and discuss with the people in the private sector and other LGUs of what's working there and how it might work in our communities. We have an opportunity here. Let's take full advantage of it. Thank you and good night.